Hello, everybody. Burnedoutguy here, and welcome back to Belts of Iron. All right, last episode we got ourselves into some solar panels, and in between episodes, I decided to build a few more. We got a total of like 300 of them here. Um, we look at our power; we're generating just like 6.4 kilowatts, so that's not too shabby. It helps out a little bit. Over time we might build more, who knows. We'll see how things go today, but today we need to get into something different. We need to continue on, so we're going to try to do the execution units, and we're going to try to do the industrial data packs. That is for today's goal. These are pretty simple to create. They're logic circuits, wiring, plastic, and silica. These are all things that we already have. They are made in that fabricator thingamabobber that we got. So, trying to remember all the buttons here. If we go into our tab, I forgot that they were all up there too. Where is it here? The fabricator. So we need to make a few of these, and then we should be fine. I think I'm gonna make 4. Now let's try making like 5. We'll try making 5 of these. So we'll make 5 assemblers and the whole 9 yards. So there we go. Now we got the 5 of them placed down. I think this should be a good enough spot for us to do what we need to do. Take a look at the recipe here. You can see that we're only making 3 per minute. So having these 5 here should give us 15 per minute. So that shouldn't be too shabby. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll start hooking all this up and bringing in all the components that we need. There we go. I think that's gonna be pretty good. Now all we have to do is hook up the belts over here. It shouldn't be too bad. Probably the nicest I can get that, really, honestly. And then we just gotta kind of hook up our belts here. This might not be super nice, but I'll try to make it as nice as I possibly can. This area, anyways. Too steep. I'll have to bring it down one. There you go. That's not too bad. Do the next one. All right, that's not too bad. And there goes our plastique. That's awesome. Now we just need to bring in the circuitry now. These ones right here. There goes our circuitry, logic circuits. That's awesome. We'll come in to populate this area. We just have to go and get the silica and bring it next to it. And there goes our silica. That's pretty awesome. Now we just got to hook up the power, and then we should be able to start making these. The hell are these things called again there? The wording for these things, The execution unit. That's what the hell we're making. Insane. Oh, now we're just going to give that power. Make ourselves a nice little storage unit over here for this. And then we'll have our own. There we go. And now we're just going to have some come this way. Bam, like that. And then the other ones are going to get split off into here. And then we'll have our own little stash of executable ones there if we need them. And then the rest are going to go on the production line. So let me go and make them a little spot over here. There we go. And ever so slowly, we're going to start populating our little production line over here. So most excellent. Pretty good. Mind you, I don't know if I'm actually going to need any of these, but I'm going to take some anyways. Oh, they're not bad. They're only 10 per, so this won't take long to actually back up. So that's kind of nice, actually. So the next item we're going to get ready to start creating is going to be the industrial pack. This one as well has to be created in the manufacturing. So we're going to do probably 5 more of these. They're 12-second crafts, so I can't assume that we're not going to make a whole whack of these. We do already have a rail track setup. But I think I'm going to move it over here so that way we can do it properly, I think, in a way. Instead of like, either way, I'm going to have to run a line all the way over here. So I think I would rather run the line with the crushed stone over here to make them. And then we make like a small little setup of making the railroad tracks. And then we send those off to the fabricators. I think that would be a pretty good idea. So we're going to have to extend this a little bit and then probably extend that way a little bit. So I'll do that and then we'll get the fabricators created and stuff and come back and get that all set up. All right, so this is the plan. I've taken apart our little railroad station thing that we had set up here. Now we just got to go and bring it over here somehow. Make it look nice, right? And it's got to line up with this bad boy over here. So that is going to bring us the crushed stone all the way to the other end because I put the belt all the way over there. So that's good. That ahead of time so that way we can pair. I should be able to get rid of these now. Perfect. Don't want to have any of those extra on me. And we can connect this belt here to here. Perfect. So now that's good. Now we just got to go and do a little setup for the railroad tracks. I obviously have lots on me, so we're gonna bring this storage way over there. So before I get too carried away here, I do want to showcase something. These cores that we made, these execution units. If you look at down here, it's gonna change the amount that we're making. So if I just put one in, we get an extra 8 per minute. Okay, 2. So I guess they're 8 per minute each, which is pretty interesting. And then if you put the whole 10 on, you get 120 per minute. Pretty, very, very, very interesting. So that's a very good way of boosting our machines later on. So I think once we get all of our belts to full speed, we can start using these things to help with the production and trying to figure out where we're a little lackluster, and then we can use those units to help speed up the machines to make things go better. So all right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to extend these belts, and then we're going to get ready to set up our... Might actually need to just do that. We just may be able to do it right now. Here we go. Where are we? We need constructors. So our little constructors here, we're going to be making... Gotta leave room for other stuff too, right? Make these guys over here. Make the... Oh, are they not made in that? Oh, they're made in the assemblers. My bad. Oh, there we go. This is much better. Got the railroad tracks. All right, so now we got these things here set up. So once we feed them, they'll all go into this chest here. We already started putting some of them in there. Got the rest of them over here, right? Probably will have too much. That's fine. We can fill up the fabricators afterwards, right? Right. All the fabricators are going to be set to making the industrial packs. There you go. And then those are all connected to here. This is where the gonna have a little bit of a backup storage for them, just like we do on all the other science ones. Now all we have to do is bring in the materials that we need. So we need to bring in, for this one here, the crushed stone and steel, which is kind of nice actually because we don't have a lot of things using steel, and this is going to be really nice for us. So I think we're going to try to do the same thing we did over here. We'll try to do it in one row so that way we're saving space, and that way we can bring the other ones back here as well, because we only need 3 items. So if we can do the same thing we did over there, it would be great. There you go. Now we just got to go and hook them up to our production line. Great. And there we go. Off steel will go. Now we're just gonna go get the other stuff back here. There we go. Really nice that when you have a halfway point, you have like kind of like a reference point. Really nice. It goes easier for lining everything up. Yep, and that goes off. And then now we should be able to start making all of that. The rails. And we just gotta power the damn thing. And because I have everything daisy chained, all of this is gonna get powered. So that's beautiful. Now we can start working on this area here. This one will obviously be the last one that I put on, I think. I don't think we'll have much problem with that. It'll be on the very bottom row. So let's go and set up everything else that we need here. Let's see what the ingredients are. Okay, so there's only 2 things: the execution cores and concrete. Oh. Yeah, concrete's going to be an issue. only because it all depends on like how steel is being used, right? So if we're using a lot of steel, we're going to make concrete, but we're not going to make a lot of concrete. So I might have to set up like a machine down there feeding some bricks to the line to help with the production. So we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. All right, so that's pretty good. We only have 2 items that we have to feed in here. That's actually a little bit more encouraging. There we go. That's going to be all set up. I'm just going to put these belts here. I want to delete that before it gets to the end, though. Now we can put our belt in. Cool. Now let's go set up parts that we need here. These things here. Actually, you know what? They're like so close, eh? I guess I could just separate them and throw them here. Just delete this here. There. I just saved myself one of them. Now I just gotta bring in the bricks. Awesome. That's like right there. That's the last piece of the puzzle, which is our bricks. So it's just gonna go in here and start furnishing that. I'm just gonna have to go and make this platform a little bit bigger so that way we can do the seals. Gotta go throw down some science centers here, and then we'll be able to start using this stuff in science, which is awesome. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. All the data packs are going to start going into the science and start populating them. We won't do any science, and we're just going to let them build up in between episodes. That way, when we start the next episode, we'll be able to do all kinds of wonderful science and get into the next little things, which is going to be the faster belts, the high density plating, and the bucket mining. But before I think we do any one of these things, it's going to be the high density plating, because the high density plating is used in here, and if I'm not mistaken, they're also used in here. Oh no, they're not. I lied. So we actually could do the bucket mining and then the high density plating, but I'm gonna do the plating first. The mining will be last, I think, so that way once we get all the belts and we set up all the belts to super speed, then we'll do the bucket mining. I think will be last. So other than getting the whole rocketry thing up and running there, but yeah. So that is the execution units and the next industrial data packs done and complete. So I hope you enjoyed the episode, everybody. Like, subscribe, please take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.